Hello, and thank you in advance for watching this short video. I sure wish I was presenting to you in person, but I'm very excited to at least share with you in a virtual format. My name is Jason Tucker, and I'm the Western Sales Region Manager for John Deere, where I've had the privilege of working with dealers and customers in the western half of the United States. I've been with John Deere for just over 23 years. I was actually fortunate enough to address the Potato Business Summit audience back in 2019 as well. And, just as I started that presentation a couple of years ago, I'd like to first start by saying thank you. Thank you for everything you do to feed a growing and a hungry world. Now, notice the title of this slide. This is the theme of my presentation. And of course, at the core of that theme, surprise, surprise, is technology. And I'm confident when I say that I speak on behalf of the entire equipment and technology industry as a whole, and that not only do we want to enable you, the grower, to farm better, but our aim is to enable you to grow your crop more profitably. As an industry, and certainly as John Deere, we're moving well beyond simply larger, faster, wider machines. We're moving into smart, connected, digitally enabled machines that are focused on holistic integration into your operation. In other words, machines and technology that are not just assets on a balance sheet, but rather critical components of how you grow your crop, and perhaps more importantly, how you drive profitability into your operation. We have a goal, and that goal is to make a good or a great farm even better. As mentioned, my career with John Deere dates back over a couple of decades to the mid 90s. And if you think back to the mid 90s, it was actually mind blowing that a tractor could essentially steer itself down the rows, right? Auto track. And if you think about technology prior to that, it was simply how efficient a hydraulic hose could be routed in order to gain a few incremental horsepower. In other words, there was not much technology beyond sort of that incremental mechanical technology. And historically, since the dawn of time, making a good farm or farm ground better was based on tribal knowledge, right? It was based on what a grower knew about making multiple passes across the same field, what a grower knew from their father or their grandfather about the particular soil or soil type, what a grower or an equipment operator knew about the mechanics of the machine, how deep the planter needed to be by kind of gut feel, how much fertilizer needed to be applied, or by looking at the soil, what type or depth of tillage pass was needed, et cetera, et cetera. It was about tribal knowledge. But today, and certainly into the future, making a good or a great farm even better is about precision agriculture and significantly smarter equipment. And ultimately, it's about data. The words precision agriculture likely have a somewhat different meaning to each of you listening here today. But to me, the key word is obviously precision. And clearly the smartest sensor on the farm, some might argue this, but the smartest sensor on the farm today is still the human brain. But that human brain can only do so much given the myriad of multiple and complex variables at play at every plant level, literally every square foot level, heck, every square inch level. And precision agriculture is just that. It brings together all that information, all those complex variables, and it makes sense of that information. It processes it into an insight, and it allows execution of that decision quicker and with more accuracy than even humanly possible, or than what you could think. Sounds like space age stuff, right? Well, it's not at all space age stuff. It's here today. And if you think about how quickly it's changed over the past 5 years, I can tell you the next 5 years are going to be absolutely mind blowing. The pace of change in this area is faster today than it's ever been, and by the way, it's also the slowest today that it'll ever be. So how do we get here, and where are we going? And if you think about what you see here on this continuum on the slide, it took many, many centuries of farming, really since the dawn of time, before steam power and belt-driven powered equipment came into play. So multiple centuries. And if you think about when steam power and belt driven power came into play, that was well over a century ago from today. And then it took nearly 40 years, 4 decades, to really get into, good hydraulic power of scale, where machinery, the tractor, the implement, really made significant strides in capability and productivity. Then it was just a few short decades after that, think about the 60s and the 70s, where we witnessed, the adoption of higher horsepower machines, certainly more capable machines, larger machines. And certainly for those John Deere fans out there, you'll remember the 60s and 70s as the 4010s and 4020 tractors, right? They were game-changing tractors. And certainly within, a short period after that, right, 10, 15 years, we began to see improved hydraulics. We began to see significantly more horsepower, just incredible technology within the drivetrain components of tractors. Yet most of the improvements and most of the advancements were still around the mechanical nature of the product. And now for the last few years, and when I say few years, literally primarily the last decade, but maybe even the last decade and a half, the mechanical improvements that's come really have been minimal, right? Productivity has been coming in the form of sensors. It's been coming in the form of intelligent machines. And think about that. I mean, it took centuries to get to a steam power, multiple decades to get to the next level of productivity, and then maybe a single decade. And now it's taken years and sometimes months to just become more and increasingly more productive and more advancements in how we're driving technology in agriculture. And these advancements today, they're really data driven, they're digitally driven, they're not mechanically driven. And data from the machine and data to the machine is making more capable machines. And more into the future, that data from and to the machine is becoming autonomous. It's making all those complex decisions with all those complex variables, as I mentioned earlier. It's making them simple. And this digital world that we live in is alive and well in agriculture. And for some of us, it might seem scary. And is it scary? Maybe. But is it exciting? Definitely. And for sure, it's becoming more clear as time goes on. As you can see on my continuum here, that electrical power, electrification, which is really a clear mechanism for even more intense and more efficient precision, will take an increasingly larger portion of the spotlight from those incremental mechanical improvements. So electrification is certainly alive and well today and part of the future. But what does this whole digitalization of agriculture really mean? When we replace mechanical and kind of hydraulic drives with high power electrical drives, for example, our ability to drive value into your operation increases significantly. I mean, think about it. High power electric drives provide greater control, greater precision, and the ability to automate machine and system functions. Think back to my comment about the human brain, right? It's still the best sensor on the farm, but what if that human brain was able to focus a lot more on the insights from the operation and thinking through how to be better, as opposed to focusing on the individual machine or the individual job function and managing all those variables. How much more profitable could your operation be if you could focus on the things that matter and the insights derived from how I'm producing my crop, instead of focused on how to operate a piece of machinery? I personally believe the possibilities here are endless. This integration of technology with the machine, it enables the overall system. It improves productivity, it increases traction, it reduces ballasting, it improves soil health. I could go on and on and on. All of those improvements, however, contribute to the bottom line. And it just isn't just about the integrated technology on the machine. I've already used this D word, data, a couple times. It's about the data and the information that comes off of the machine. Notice the picture on the far right side of the screen. This is an actual photo of a potato grower's yield map. This particular grower did a tillage demo this spring and noticed significant differences in their yields from one side of the field to the other. Then they correlated the tillage passes to the increased yield, actually utilizing yield doc data from the machine, yield doc for potatoes, taking multiple layers of data and multiple layers of information off the machine in multiple steps of the production from tillage to harvest, and then driving those insights and slight changes to drive higher yields. What does higher yields drive? Higher profitability, right? It's outcomes without digital tools and data from the machine and to the machine are very possible today. And if you think about where that's going in the future, it's only more impressive. Digitalization, it equals precision agriculture. They're kind of one and the same. And precision ag obviously equals higher yields, as in my example here. It may equal lower cost. It may equal both, and that equals more profit. Seems simple, right? So specifically, what does this mean to you, the potato grower, right? It means we're working to implement this data, this technology into all steps of the production system. You may be thinking, growing potatoes is just a step in getting the food on the table, right? And I'd argue it's the most important step, but it's a step. How does this technology and this data impact processing and distribution, which is core to the overall production of potatoes, for example? But and clearly I'm an equipment guy, so I'm going to get out over my skis here just a little bit. But think about this: having access to production data, sustainability efforts that you go through, and decisions that you made along the way. Those decisions made with data, how critical are those going to be in processing and distribution? And certainly the consumers that are buying the end product, they're becoming more and more demanding of not only kind of where their food come from, but maybe more importantly, how their food was grown, how it was produced. So think about that as a grower. My guess is you don't want to be writing that information down from memory or relying on your equipment operators to recall the activities that they undertook. You want it automatically documented, seamlessly translated in a digital format to the processing and distribution, and perhaps maybe even to the end consumer. Again, it seems scary, but it is a digital and connected world we live in, and there's no reason that we in agriculture, and when I say we the equipment manufacturers, we the input suppliers, we the growers, collectively all together, there's no reason that we can't be at the forefront of this digital world and this change. And I can confidently say that our goal in this digitalization space, this technology space, is not technology for technology's sake. Our goal it's actually quite simple, and I've said it a couple times. It's the theme of my presentation, and that is help growers farm better and be more profitable. Precision ag it's got to be relevant. It's got to help you, the grower. Some of you heard me say this a couple of years ago, and it's only relevant if it's your data on your farm, your information, so that you can make decisions based on your operation. Precision ag's also got to be intuitive, right? We at John Deere, we work really hard on this, and I know the industry is working really hard on making it intuitive. This technology's got to be integrated into the machine and connected to a cloud so that you can choose how you interact with the data, how you use that information and collect that information to execute on the decisions you make. Now, whether those decisions are around, making every seed count during planting, making every drop count during the growth of the crop, or capturing every spud that's harvested, it has to be intuitive, it has to be easy, and it has to be something that you can execute on. Growing crops, regardless of the crop, is complex. You all know that better than I do. And I certainly don't have to tell you that. So if we can collectively learn every time we make a pass across the field, use those learnings to make our operation, our machines, our decisions better, why in the world wouldn't we take advantage of that? Now, in my opinion, one of the things about this technology and the connectivity that we've created is just that these machines can be connected to the land, connected to the grower, connected to other machines, and perhaps very importantly, connected to your dealer for support. Machines break, things happen, and when the machines are connected, they're live. Your dealer can provide uptime support in a very seamless fashion by monitoring the machine performance, diagnosing the issues remotely and quickly, and via the connectivity. And this connectivity, it enables you to make not only the machines better, not just better from a standpoint of quality, but also smarter and more efficient. And again, if you tie all those together, it enables more profit to you through uptime and proactive services. So these connected machines are not revolutionary per se, but if you think about the technology that helps you farm better, plus the technology that enables our dealer organization to service the machines better, all of that leads to ultimately to higher profits in your operation. Now, what would a technology or an equipment presentation be without touching on automation or autonomy, autonomous machines? And so, certainly the industry has been talking about this for a while, and we're certainly moving as an industry in that direction. But to me, the key to autonomous vehicles is not just about a driverless machine or a driverless tractor. It's about a machine that can autonomously perform functions during a production step that are either redundant, complex, they're difficult to repeat from field to field or from year to year. That's what autonomy is really about. And here's a picture on the slide of a step towards autonomy. This is our machine sync solution in action in potato harvesting. And I'm guessing there's a few of you listening today that have experienced this solution. This is harvesting and unloading with machines that are synced up with little to no operator interaction. So think about the ability to avoid the mistakes, the ability to maintain the synchronization of the speed of the machines. It's all automated. And this is just a simple yet complex, but simple example of the autonomous nature by which this technology enables. And there's no doubt into the near future that we're going to see fully autonomous solutions. No doubt in my mind. But at the end of the day, fully autonomous solutions must still deliver what any precision ag solution's got to deliver, and that's a path to reducing inputs, a path to improving yields, a path to sustainability, or a combination of all of those. And again, if you think about all those, they lead to one thing, and that's more profitability in your operation. So as you think about the technology, as you think about the data, as you think about the information all coming together in a solution like Machine Sync that you see here, at the end of all of that, it is about driving profitability into your operation. And if the solution doesn't do that, you got to ask yourself, is it a solution at all, right? So I could talk about, as you can tell, I'm passionate. I could talk about this all day, but I'll land this plane here, and that is that we've collectively come a long way in agriculture, and the future is way more bright than the past. And mechanization is the foundation. Make no mistake, it's the foundation that all of us have built our businesses on. It's the foundation that we built our farm on, relative to being productive. But the time is now to really transform to digital farming through integrated technology and data utilization. And I've alluded to it a few times here in this short presentation, but technology and data are they're just widgets. They're just gadgets if they don't ultimately deliver what you see here on this slide, all the things that help growers farm better and be more profitable. So I'll finish this short presentation where I started, and that is that I just want to say thank you for all that you do to support a growing and a hungry world. Thanks.